out the box. I just hit a lick with a box. Had to put the stick in a box. Put out the whole MCU. I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo deal. We've been trapping like the 80s.
What's going on? It is Alex here with a very brand new set of videos. Something I will definitely be doing a lot more. This is my very first album review. It's on Roddy Rich. Please excuse me for being Antisocial. His breakout album. I would say it was pretty well received by the general public. I personally enjoyed this album. A lot of what this album was is a lot of trap anthem and a lot of what we would call mainstream trap. A lot of backbeat, a lot of really good instrumentals. When I first saw this track list, the album track list, I thought, wow, these are some these seem like pretty appropriate features. Gunna, Ty Dolla $ign, Lil Durk, etc. When you first start the album, you listen to this song called Intro, which is this godly instrumental masterpiece of an intro. It's one of the best intros I've heard on any album. I was quite impressed with the introduction to the album itself. The transitions on this album are just so amazing not to recognize. And Xbox is doing weird stuff. The transitions on this album are so fantastic that you can't just not acknowledge them. The approach to a lot of the songs on this album, the earlier songs of the album are pretty strong. It's kind of in your face, with the trap anthem, The Box. It's his super well received song off the album. It's the one that's topped the charts currently at the time of this video, and it's a really, really good example of trap anthems because of its instrumental, its originality, its overall songwriting, creativity. The amount of effort that it sounded like went into it was impeccable. There are also other really good songs with awesome introductions to the song with fantastic instrumentals such as Moonwalkin'. That was a very good one that I thought was pretty well done with the instrumentals and the overall vocals and mechanics of the track. The songwriting on the best tracks of the album are pretty well-rounded. It's a lot of in-your-face trap, normal stuff you hear in a trap song, which is what we really expected from Roddy to put out. I definitely think some tracks could have been left off of this album though. Some tracks I think could absolutely be left off this album are songs like Backseat that just kind of sound bland and overall didn't sound like too much effort was put into it. Big Stepper could have absolutely been left off the list. Big Stepper could have absolutely been left off the list. But those were really the only tracks I thought were kind of unnecessary to the album. I didn't think that they were appropriate trap anthems to complement the album itself, to complement big star-studded tracks like The Box and Moonwalkin' and songs like that. Some of the best songs on the album are God's Eyes, Moonwalkin', like I mentioned. Moonwalkin' I really like is because it's got a lot of really creative instrumentals on it. Some instrumentals that I really haven't heard before in these style of trap albums before. Another really good instrumental and vocal song is Pita. I really personally thought that was one of the best tracks on the album with Roddy's vocals, and the overall songwriting of the song is very, very creative, and I was very impressed with it. I thought High Fashion was very good overall song. The vocals were fantastic on the album. Roddy does a really good job in that one. Roll Dice I thought was pretty decent. It was more towards the lower side of the good tracks on the album. Another song that I thought was pretty stand out on this album was Prayers to the Trap God, which it's pretty appropriate for a trap album like this one. It's one of those trap anthems that you're like, that starts off, you know, like, well, this could be really good track, and it stays consistent throughout the entire track, and it leaves you entertained with a good overall song. Another good song off the album that I thought was one of the better ones was War Baby, due to its overall songwriting, vocal, and instrumental performance. Something I really appreciate about albums are the inclusion of skits, and I think if you want to release a really good LP, you gotta have at least one skit. That's something that Chance the Rapper does that I really enjoy personally, is his inclusion of skits, which I liked that Roddy did this here. A lot of successful albums have skits, and I really appreciated the one on this one. The track Tiptoe is very different than anything I've really ever heard. The vocals are very original. I wouldn't call them good, but they were definitely different and very out there. This is the best way to describe them. Not great, not good, but not bad. They're just very original and very unique. Overall, I would say this album is definitely a 7 overall. And the reason that I don't really give this album a 8 or a 9 or even a 10 is because there were some tracks on the album that I thought didn't really need to be there. They didn't complement the album very well. But the reason it still got such a high score is because of the amount of tracks on the album that were really good and I thought really complemented the overall sound of the album. So yeah, that's it for this review. This is going to be a series, so tune in for more on the next album that is reviewed. And yeah, that's it for me. Peace.
Busting out the bells out the box. I just hit a lick with a box. Had to put the stick in a box. Pour out the whole MCU. I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo deal. People trying